Hello and welcome to On Public Square, a City of Clarksville podcast where we get to know the amazing city employees that keep the lights on. They're our friends, our family, and our neighbors, and each one of them has a story to tell. Now, let's say hello. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of On Public Square. I am joined today by some old work buddies of mine who work in local media, as well as Maggie Houts from Parks and Recreation. We are short of Jimmy today. He had to go to the doctor's office. I know he wasn't here last time either. I have not gotten rid of Jimmy. He will be back.
We miss you, Jimmy.
Yes, we do.
Yes. But I have here, who you just heard, we have voices you probably recognize already. Lee Erwin with 5 Star Media and Clarksville Now, and also with 5 Star Media, Ryan Ploekelman.
Hey, Casey. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. I miss working with you guys.
We miss you.
We miss you. And I was so happy to come in here and see pictures of the baby, because that's what I was looking forward to most, was baby pictures.
Yeah, Oliver is growing like a weed.
I tend to do.
Yes, he is. He'll be 3 months old next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, time's flying.
What's your favorite part about being a dad so far?
It's that smiley face. Like when I wake him up in the morning, he's just all grinning ear to ear. That's just the coolest thing.
Just like his dad, I'm sure. Yeah. Don't you wake up smiling in the morning?
Yeah, I'm a morning person.
Okay.
Me too. Much to my wife's annoyance.
I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice. People will tell you all the time, kids grow up fast. And you won't believe it. You're like, oh, no, they don't grow up fast, yada, yada, yada. And you'll look back at some point when Oliver is applying for college, and then Oliver is going to college, and then Oliver is graduated from college. You'll stop and you'll go, you know what? All those people that told me they grow up fast were absolutely correct. So cherish every milestone, every minute, and just be present with that wonderful little being you've been blessed with.
Yes.
And know that at some point he's going to say, Dad, I'm moving out.
Oh, no.
Are you running for super father or something?
Trying to.
Right now he can't. Well, that might be maybe that'll be a Clarksville's best this next time around.
There you go. Yeah.
Clarksville's best by 5 Star Media.
Right.
To Ryan.
Right.
Love it. But no, it's been great. He had his first, we had shots day at the doctor not too long ago.
Uh-oh.
And he had a little bit of a fever yesterday, and both Megan and I were just like, oh.
That panic look on their faces, you know.
Yeah.
Did Dad get a sucker at the end?
No, I got looks of betrayal from my son when the doctor was like, distract him, Dad. Just get him to laugh and play with him and he's looking at me smiling, and it just shuts down, buffering. And then, Father, why have you betrayed me?
Right. They give you that look like, at first they don't quite get it. They're like, something's going on. Is that pain? Oh, you liar. Yeah.
But no, he's all good. He is all good.
To be young again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit of introductions. First, I guess we can start with Lee. Lee, you've been a local radio personality of all sorts, an MC for a lot of local events, including the one we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about Lee.
Well, I'm from Montgomery County. I could say Clarksville, but it's almost all the same thing. But grew up around near your area, out in Palmyra.
Yeah, we're both Montgomery Central kids.
Yeah, that's right. Graduated Montgomery Central and went off to broadcast school and came back. And Ryan said, "Let's give him a job." So,
one of my favorite stories of yours is that you've been buried alive.
Yes, I was buried alive at Gary Matthews and frozen alive. And actually, they were just talking about that recently. Gary Matthews Nissan celebrated 50 years.
Are we going to do it again?
No, they're not going to bury me again. No. I don't think corporate would allow it in the old days. But
we don't want to bury Lee Erwin anytime soon. I just want to put that out there.
They were talking about that at Matthews Nissan the other day, about me being buried alive and frozen alive. and spent 48 hours in a 10,000-gallon tank of water.
I didn't know
It
that.
was a promotional thing for the Humane Society of Clarksville, Montgomery County. So
Anything for charity.
that's right. It was to
Yeah.
raise money. So that was really great. But let's not talk about being buried alive. There's too many weird things involved here. But
That
I have a
It
lot
was-
of questions.
it
to
was
ask.
for
I'm not
a
going
good
to.
cause. Oh, Parks and Rec, they want to bury me alive.
Hey, it's
So
fundraiser, but
it was for a good cause, and that's the main thing. So,
goodness.
But I enjoyed that and been involved with Riverfest. I was telling Maggie the other day, I remember the first Riverfest, and I can't remember, it had to be 88 or 89.
88.
88. Okay, could not remember the exact year, but I remember that and worked with it. I don't think I've missed a Riverfest since it's been going on. So,
Usually the MC for the cardboard boat regatta,
yes.
and sometimes for the main stage. I
Yes,
believe.
I've emceed quite a bit there. So
Wonderful. And then we have from 5-Star Media, Ryan, who is one of our media partners, I believe, for Riverfest. Yes?
Yes, yeah, we're proud to be the media sponsor of Riverfest and really all the things that the city of Clarksville does and Parks and Recreation. We have a great partnership with, and we love being a part of the community. We don't like Lee to hog all of the MC duties, but he tends to do that. I have to look at his schedule and go, Lee.
Maggie makes me do it.
Competition.
Maggie makes me do it. It's not my fault.
Well,
It's
and
mandatory fun.
Right.
Oh, we have a great staff of wonderful people that we can do. We like to distribute that around. Share the fame and glory a little
Well,
bit.
and
So.
here's let's be honest for a minute. Lee Erwin's been a part of this community for 50 years and has been serving this community for 50 years. And so when you have that longevity in a community, people think of you all the time. And so like Lee is such a vibrant part of this community, and nobody deserved a key to the city more than Lee, which he got earlier this year.
Thank you.
But so people will just go to Lee and they'll say, hey, can you MC this event? Because when people think of 5-Star Media, when they think of Clarksville, when they think of things going on, they're thinking of Lee Erwin. So I have to keep him, make sure he's not double booked all the time and he takes a break or two.
I don't mind sharing the wealth. I really don't mind.
I'm going to add the video of you getting the key to the city to the YouTube version of this.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. That'll work.
I was very thrilled. That was right when I started here, and they were like, we're going to give Lee a key to the city. And I was just like, yes, this is so great.
And nobody told me till it happened.
Yeah.
So,
Because they told it was my job to get you to the meeting without you knowing.
How did
And
you
you
do
did-
that?
you
Usually
did a
he
great
knows
job.
everything.
I told Chris to tell him to be there. But I think I said we had some kids getting an award.
Yeah. Actually, I think Mana Cafe was getting an award.
I think,
Kitty award,
yes, that's it.
He had recently passed, but still, I was surprised, but I appreciate that very much.
He's
So,
got a fun runner, a Bikers Who Care Ride memorial.
coming up this
run
weekend,
coming
as a
up.
matter of fact.
It's
Yes.
very cool. And then we have Maggie Houts from Parks and Recreation. You were one of the organizers for this year's event, correct?
I am, yes.
Wonderful.
So this will be my second year planning Riverfest.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your job title, kind of what you do with Parks and Rec?
Yeah, so I am the event planning supervisor for Parks and Rec. So I oversee all of our citywide events here in Clarksville, and also plan my own events, and then also work with outside organizations who also want to plan their events.
Wonderful. Do you have a favorite event each year?
Really shouldn't have a favorite. Really though, my favorite is July 3rd, Independence Day celebration, because that really encompasses, we are a military town, so it's a great day to celebrate our military and then bring the Montgomery County into our planning process for that event. So yeah, it's my absolute favorite.
Yeah, this will actually be going out on the day of one of our events. We have the AAPI Heritage Month celebration this Friday. I'm really looking forward to going.
Absolutely.
Let me toot Maggie's horn for a minute. An event that Maggie has taken over that has become a big part of the city of Clarksville. We recently had the 45th running of the Queen City Road Race.
Yes.
45 years of that, right? And Maggie's taken over the
Big
last
tradition.
couple of years. And just the energy and the changes and the atmosphere, and she's really revitalized that event and made it something really special. When you think about 45 years of an event, everything's been tried, everything's been done. But I'll tell you, the last couple of years of that event, I've been able to witness as a father of a runner, as a runner myself, as a MC, and it's really stepped up the last couple of years, and really fantastic job.
For sure.
I mean, the expectations keep changing, and we obviously want to keep things new and fresh.
Yeah.
Ryan, I got to see your son run.
My son took second place
awesome.
in the 10K and the 5K. So he's got the 2 second place trophies from one day. So
Love it. Love it.
And then obviously, I mean, goal is next year to hopefully do a half marathon. So, I mean, every single year we're trying to change it up a little bit.
Very cool. You're into running and marathons and such. Ryan's your guy. I believe you have a personal podcast.
I have a podcast called The Adventure Jogger that I do in my spare time. So that's worth checking out.
And you like to run for fun. I
do, believe it or not. Although it's not very fun to run in the early summer, late spring, when the humidity is 90%. That sucks all the fun out of it.
I'm working on getting into it with being a dad. I've been trying to get a little more in shape so I can, be more active and do things.
Dad bods are still
has been.
So
this isn't a visual medium. Come on.
Rock that dad bod, Casey.
And that's what's awesome too, is that we want to celebrate all fitness journeys there. So we don't want to target just one specific community of that.
For sure. But let's get on and talk about what our main topic is for today, Riverfest.
Yeah.
We've all had various involvements with Riverfest. I've covered a lot of them, played on the Coup stage back when the Coup was a local music venue and had an independent local music stage. My band played there a few years, and we were terrible, but it was a lot of fun for high schoolers.
Look at you now.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to start with just talking about past Riverfests. If everyone's got a favorite year of or something that happens, maybe a favorite event or a Riverfest memory.
Lee, do you want to go first? Since you've
got
to all of them, you probably have more stories than anybody here.
The problem is they're all kind of running together. But like I said, I remember the first. But I remember one of the big changes we had quite a few years ago was when they moved Riverfest down to what was then Fairgrounds Park. And that's because they were working on McGregor Park. They were doing a lot of great work there. And then I think we were gone for just a couple of years, and then we came back to McGregor Park. So, but there are a lot of great memories, a lot of great music. Riverfest Regatta is my favorite, just because to go down and watch the boats sink, and also the winners as well. But it is difficult for me because I've been to so many. It's just hard to get them all straightened out. But like I said, I remember us moving for a couple of years and coming back to McGregor Park, and they did such a great job of improvements on McGregor Park. So that was great.
I agree. It's a great place for it to be able to have it along the Riverwalk. I know for a lot of people, the traffic can be a bit of a bear, especially when you get to the middle of Riverfest and it's Friday night.
Yeah.
And Riverside Drive is kind of just out of the equation for driving. But it's great to be able to be along the river, such an iconic spot for Clarksville. And again, the regatta is my favorite event too.
I think a lot of people love to come out and watch it.
Have you been in a boat?
No, I have not. I don't swim.
So they may need to put you in a boat this year.
I remember we're talking about, I remember spending about 48 hours in a 10,000 gallon tank of water. And that was enough water for me for the rest of my life.
I haven't, but because I usually have to take photos. But maybe now that we have Jimmy here having a camera as well, maybe I can get in the boat for the city next year.
And the mayor and the city has a boat every year.
Last year was Star Trek themed. It was really
cool. It was.
They had to saw off the warp nacelles just before because they were like falling off, if I remember, or something was up where it was just like way too much weight.
For
some reason.
It's always fun splashing the mayor too when he's in this boat. So.
Well, no, and I think a perfect example of what people love about the cardboard regatta is they love failure. They love watching failure. You're not going down there to cheer someone on to victory.
No.
You are going down there to see boats fall apart, people sink, just the chaos of the cardboard.
And Maggie, that's why we have the Titanic Award, right?
That's right, yes.
That is the best one. And the best. We didn't have enough sink last year, if anything.
Did any sink last year?
I don't think so.
I don't think there were, no.
I need people to build flimsier boats.
Exactly. Or start drilling holes in the other one.
People are spending hours though making their boats because there's obviously the best. What is it? Best the category. It's the best looking boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do enjoy a good just watching people go down.
A good sinking.
Yes, a good sinking.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Well, for this year, the theme for the cardboard boat regatta is going to be 80s and 90s.
Oh,
A lot of hyper colors, a lot of neon.
Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
Ooh, yes.
okay.
I'm thinking of maybe a Karate Kid boat. Do like one of the cars from one of Mr. Miyagi's cars.
That's a lot of work.
Get some Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Geese.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I don't know. I really like that theme. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. What about you, Ryan?
I have a couple of memories of Riverfest. I want to start with one that I just have recently gotten over this. This was years ago. I don't even know if you know this, Maggie.
Let's hear it.
But this is probably 13, 14 years ago. Someone had the idea that Riverfest needed a mascot. Did you hear about this?
No, I'm terrified of mascots.
So they wanted to do this mascot for Riverfest. And so it was going to be a fish. And so they had this fish mascot ready to go. And there was a contest to name the fish mascot for Riverfest. And if your name was drawn, if your name was picked as the winner, you would get like premier access to the headliner, that sort of thing, right? For years and years and years to go. And so I remember going like, well, I got the perfect name for this fish, right? And so I submitted my name thinking I was going to win. I'm like, I don't know if I can win because I work for the radio station. Hey, give the passes to someone else. I just want to be the guy who names the Riverfest mascot. My name idea was Clark S. Gill.
I love
Clarksville, right?
Clarksville.
Right, exactly. Clarksville, Clarksville. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to lose. I am so excited. And then I can't remember who the person was that was in charge. It was Maggie's job at that time. But they came on to announce on the radio station the winner.
Would it be Jessica Goldberg?
No,
Was it
no,
Jennifer?
before her.
It might have been.
I don't think so. Before her as well. And so they came to the radio station. I'm like, oh, they're coming to the radio station to tell me how great my idea was. And now the mascot, this fish walking around, Clark S. Gill, is going to be the name of the mascot. And they say, we've got the name of the mascot ready. And we're really excited to announce that the winning name was, and I'm like, just give it to me. Here we go. Tell me how awesome I am. Wrong. Finny G was the winning name.
I remember that.
I do like that one too, though. I like yours better, but I do like.
I was like, Finny G? What does it even make sense? Is he playing a saxophone? Does he have long curly fish hair?
What kind of fish is this?
It was like I think it was
catfish?
A catfish would make the most sense.
a catfish.
It's a river.
Oh yes, there's a poster hanging in actually Orion Samples office of that catfish.
Yes.
in Riverfest.
Does he have a
That might have been
saxophone?
from that year? I can't remember, but it was a catfish, and we make fun of it too because the catfish.
Well, make sure you tell Ryan
You
that
make you
story.
think about it.
I've just recently gotten over that loss. 12, 14 years later. That was my first. But Finny G did not stick. As
Put
you
it on
can
your
tell.
tombstone.
It's gonna be my tombstone's gonna be Clark S. Gill was a better name than Finny G. Everybody knows it. The mayor knows it. I know it. Everybody knows it.
Do we know what happened to Finny? I don't remember.
I think they just kind of.
Was someone dressed in it,
I don't
or
know
what
if
was?
You need to check the
I'm going
Parks
to.
and Rec like back closets to see if there's a fish costume.
I know we have Corny the Cob for our downtown market.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
You
The
need to-
downtown market has a mascot?
sure does.
Yes.
Corny the Cob.
I didn't know that.
Corny the Cob.
Well, if I search Clarksville, Tennessee, Finny G, I just get a picture of G's Pancake House.
See, so that just goes to show you that didn't really catch
Didn't
on
really stick, yeah.
at all.
Rest in peace, G's Pancake House.
Exactly. Another memory that I have, and this is a much more positive memory. I didn't want to go
I'd say
negative.
that's pretty positive.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
Um,
So, here you think, because I worked on the morning show on Q108 for years, and I'm the operations manager of 5 Star Media. And so you think you're the morning show, right? You're the morning guy. I'm going to be on the headlining stage, and I'm going to be introducing the headliner. right? You think that. But then you realize that, Q108 is a pop music station, and a lot of the headliners we've had have been great country artists. They live right down the road. Why wouldn't they come up here? I remember Joe Diffie was one of the headliners. That was a great show.
That was a good show.
Oh my God, great. Joe Diffie was fantastic. I believe Confederate Railroad has done it. We've had some really fantastic lineups. I never got to introduce the headliner. I always got stuck on the side stage during what I call friends and family hour, which is basically 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. So I got stuck on one of the side stages, and it was the dance themed stage, right? So this is where all the local dance troupes would come out, and they would do a dance performance for their parents and loved ones. And so it was a lot of family and friends in the audience. So be on stage and go, "Hey everybody, welcome to Riverfest. We're so excited to have you here. Here we are on the blankety blank dance stage. A lot of great performers for you today. Let's start off with, Casey's House of Dance." And then they come out and dance.
When my dance teacher wife finally decides to open a studio, I'm pitching Casey's House of Dance.
I love it. House has to be spelled the fancy way too, like Haas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was kids dancing, and it was older dance troupes. So there'd be a bunch of older people would get together, and they'd do like a stepper type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember this one year introducing these dance troupes, and of course nobody knows who I am, and they just want to see their kids dance, and that's great. And so I'm being told to keep a very tight ship. They have 10 minutes, and then we go on to the next
and
one.
then they have 5 minutes in between.
Right, exactly. And so here I am, and I'm like, okay, that was great. That was Casey's House of Dance. Coming up, we have the Divine Steppers in just minutes. Stick around here at Riverfest in Clarksville. And I say that, and as I get off the stage, someone from the Divine, and I forget the name of the dance troupe was, and she comes and she says, "We've got a problem." And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? I just have a script in my hand. And she goes, "I need you to rearrange the dance performers." And I'm like, "What's going on?" She goes, "I have lost my connection to the spirit of the dance, and I need some time to recenter myself."
Okay.
And so she needed 10 or 15 minutes to reconnect herself to the spirit of the dance. And so, because she wouldn't go on. And so I'm on stage again. I said, "Hey, we're going to have the Divine Steppers in just a couple minutes. Right now, it's time for Lee Erwin's Dance-A-Rama. Come on up, guys." And then I had to think on the fly, and I'll never forget that. Here I am thinking, oh my God, did someone die?
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Right, because this was one of the older dancers. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How do I make the announcement that someone died? And it wasn't that. It was, I've lost my connection to the spirit of the dance. I need some time to reconnect. And I'm like, oh, well, that I can handle.
So the year Ryan walked into a Christopher Guest movie. That's some waiting for Guffman.
That's
nonsense.
what I realized.
You didn't do an impromptu dance?
I didn't. No, it's one of the things that I know about myself is I'm a horrible dancer, and I will never forget just that moment of terror, because I wasn't sure what the big problem was. So someone comes to you, they say, "We got a problem." Maggie, you know this. You run all these events. When someone comes up to you and says, "Oh my God, there's a problem,"
You think the worst.
You think the worst.
Absolute worst. Yep.
And honestly, if the worst thing that's ever happened to me emceeing an event was having to rearrange an order to allow someone time to recenter themselves and to be able to put themselves back into the spirit of the dance, I think I did pretty well. I mean, I can live with that. I'm happy.
That's a good memory.
I think Ryan brought up something that a lot of people don't realize. When you're on stage, you've got a script, and you've got people, and something goes wrong, and then the person in charge, like in the past, Maggie or in the past, and they walk up and they do the twirly finger, which means kill time. It means kill time, And, I mean, we're not on the radio and we're not comedians. So you start thinking about I've had people say, tell a joke or something, No, I'm not a stand-up comedian.
What's your go-to joke? If you...
I can't even think of one, right? Because you got to think fast.
Yeah.
Ryan thinks faster than I do. I've got an older brain,
Yeah.
so I'm sure
Yeah.
he did fine. But a couple of times I just repeated whoever the sponsors were, whatever the script said, just do that over. Do it slowly.
Exactly. You got to slow it down, or you just like to start talking to the crowd. Like, is everybody excited
yeah.
for tonight?
You got to get the crowd involved.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was in high school and college doing bands and stuff, that was my job while the lead guitarist switched like to a different guitar that was in a different tuning or something.
Yeah.
I was because I did improv comedy. And so they were like, Casey, you're the guy who's going to just talk to the crowd for 5 to 6 minutes.
Right.
It's not, no, I'm good.
I do remember having to do that once because there was a headliner. I didn't get to introduce the headliner. You remember, I'm the guy who's stuck on the stage introducing the dance troops at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning. But they needed me to introduce the person who had introduced the headliner. So it was my job to introduce not our current mayor, but a past mayor who wanted to do all the emceeing. I think Mayor Pitts is pretty much like, Mayor Pitts, I'm here.
I
He's
remember
happy
that.
to do it, but I think he likes to let other people have the spotlight too.
He does.
So I had to stall because the other mayor, not Mayor Pitts, not Mayor Durrett, not Mayor Golden. So just so everybody knows, you can go from there. But I had to stall because like, they're not ready. Stall. And I'm like, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Great to see everybody at Riverfest. Are you excited for the headliner? Well, they're coming up in just a little. And that was, I remember having to really, and then at some point, you've exhausted everything you can possibly say, right? Like, have you tried those elephant ears yet? Boy, those are delicious.
Funnel cakes?
Right. How about
What's the deal with carnival food?
Right, exactly. You've exhausted everything. And you go like, please tell me they're ready. And you look over to the side and the person's like, they're ready. You're like, oh, thank God, because I can't make that funnel cake joke one more time.
You had to connect to the spirit of the
funnel
cakes.
And you're talking about bands, and that just jogged my memory about it. I can't remember. It was a classic rock band. It was kind of well known, and they were performing, but they were not happy with their hotel room. And I don't know where they were staying in town, but they were running late. And I remember I can't remember her name either. She did what Maggie does now, but came up and said, we got to stall for time because the band is complaining about their room. Something about they didn't like about the overnight service or something. They got there the day before and they weren't happy. So there again, I'm trying to kill time, reading off the script, involving the crowd.
Right.
That's the main thing. Get the crowd involved.
Mm-hmm.
They can either, they may not like you for that, but especially you pick out people hey there, Bob, how you doing, buddy?
Right.
Good to see you. Glad you made it tonight. I think I remember.
Was it Winger?
Yeah, things are starting to jog my
hearing all
memory.
these stories.
But we had the duck race. Do you remember the duck race?
I do remember the duck race.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had 500 ducks or something.
Yep.
They dropped them off of Cunningham Bridge, I believe it was. And then we were all sitting there waiting for the ducks to come down.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him seeing that thing, and whichever duck, you got a number on your duck, whichever duck.
These real
first.
ducks or
No, they were
ducks.
rubber duckies.
Yeah.
You said
Rubber
dropping off
ducky.
Cunningham Bridge.
This is WKRP.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
this
really.
The episode with the turkeys?
Turkeys can fly.
Yeah.
No, they were
God's
rubber
God's
ducks.
my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
They were bright yellow, and I think there were about
Turkeys
500
can
of them.
fly.
That's another episode. WKRP.
We'll do a whole show on that
Right.
sometime.
We can find all
But-
the ducks celebrity part.
I mean, somebody out there in a boat, and they were waiting for the first one to cross the finish line. So,
Oh my.
So
Yeah.
that is something we're trying to bring back this year.
Can you
The
bring
duck
Winger
race?
back too so they can trash their hotel and make Lee wait?
I love how Lee's like skirting around some rock band and Ryan's like, they were terrible, dox them.
I'm guessing it was Winger. I don't know. Maggie's got the full lineup, I'm sure, back in her office somewhere. We can look and see which famous classic rock band was in town.
I used to be a gopher for concerts, driving the band around.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see who's nice guys and who's not. One of the nicest groups I ever gophered for was Sawyer Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Red Jumpsuit Apparatus was really fun too.
Well, that reminds me of a Riverfest story. Because you spend a lot of time backstage waiting for things to happen. And the sound people have stories.
Yes.
Oh yeah, my
Oh,
goodness, the sound.
Unbelievable.
Yes. And you can get just a wealth of amazing stories from sound people. And I remember this sound person talking to me. This is where
Was
we're
it
just,
Mark Hawkins from
No,
Warnings?
it was-
They've
it
been
was-
doing
they
Riverfest
have.
for years.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mark has stories.
It was probably
Yeah.
someone that worked for Mark.
Mhm.
But he was talking about an experience that he had a couple weeks prior, the sound guy, of dealing with probably one of the most famous rock bands on planet Earth. And he worked through just the lineup about how some of them were quite delightful and really easy to work with. And just were, hey, this is how I want my guitar, set it up here. Sound checks, they were great and very kind and were very, like they were taking care of their sound people and just being really pleasant to be around. But there was one member of this very famous rock band who was absolutely horrible to the sound people. Like if his microphone stand was an inch too short, he would go off on a tizzy and run off stage. And he was throwing fits and demanding all of these things. Well, the rest of the band was very cool. And he was like, I just couldn't believe the difference in these members of the band and then this guy.
I have one like that. Yeah, it's wild how people can be, especially famous people.
Right.
Like I didn't expect, like working with Leonard Skinner, they were very humble guys, and they were like, "Look, we're like in our 60s. We're doing this for fun. We're gonna let's be chill.
Yeah,
like
right,
you want to come hang
right,
out in the green
yeah.
room? We have some great food.
Right.
But one that got me was Jefferson Starship, which they had gone back to Jefferson Starship when I worked for them.
Yeah.
They had a tour bus, but they all drove in cars. The tour bus was just to carry their stuff, but they didn't like each other enough
That happens a
to
lot,
be on
man.
the bus.
I think it happens a lot. And we're getting way off topic here, but if you look at one of the greatest albums of all time, and I'm not just, this is not an opinion, sales back this up, one of the best-selling albums of all time was Fleetwood Mac's Rumors.
Oh, yeah.
And Fleetwood Mac's Rumors was recorded during a time when everybody in the band hated each other's guts and couldn't be around each other.
How does that happen?
I think,
I spend a lot of time with the people in the band.
creative people together, and sometimes it gels and sometimes doesn't, and it ebbs and flows too. I think they realize now that they can make a lot of money together to get over whatever their problems are. But it is fine. Name me 10 records better than Rumors. I don't think you can.
Yeah. Hey, all this talk about sound reminds me.
Yeah.
One of the first Riverfest. Now, this was before they had
Way to bring it back.
bands
Yeah.
playing,
Yeah.
But anyway, we set up speakers all along the Riverwalk there.
Yeah.
And I had to plug in like 4 of these giant speakers, had an amplifier, and we played Q108. We played the radio station, at that time.
Yeah.
This had to be back late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
before they started really getting some great acts there, but we just played the radio station for people.
Wow.
while they were doing
That's
it.
really
I
cool.
know that.
Playing those
Yeah,
speakers.
but speaker wire. We're talking, there's no
Yeah.
wireless speakers here. We're
In
talking,
the
set them
80s.
up. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
trying to
goodness.
get people not to trip, or kids not to trip over the speaker wires.
I know
Yeah.
now that's not an issue at all, finding entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard when we're selecting entertainers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you guys picked a headliner for this year's Riverfest yet?
Not yet.
Okay, it's a secret. We're not getting that detail out of you.
Not yet.
This one.
Usually what we do is traditionally the mayor would announce it on July 3rd.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
So-
come on, Maggie. I got $20 here. Just go ahead and tell us. Come
I'd
on.
say it's going to be some throwback to tie in with our theme.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the theme for the regatta is 80s and 90s. So one would think that it's going to be an 80s or 90s band.
Yeah.
Maybe Winger's coming back and Lee Erwin will have to wait on him again.
Which
I
I
will
guess
make sure they do that.
which I guess gets into this year's theme, which is sort of Riverfest greatest hits, I think is what the word is.
It's more so of celebrating the tradition of Riverfest, the legacy of what it has become of
Yeah.
Clarksville. So we really wanted to tie in really how the reason why we started Riverfest, where we are now, and really just celebrating what Clarksville has to offer in the history of Clarksville. So
Yeah.
we thought, why not try to bring in some of the old artists that were here
Mhm.
previously and try bringing back the elements of the
Mhm.
beginnings of Riverfest.
Yeah. I know a lot of details aren't. I am excited about the possibility of maybe a local stage. Is that a thing that might be possible again?
Local meaning.
Like local artists.
Yes. That's the goal. So really,
Okay.
we're going to have 2 stages. The stages are going to be in a different spots this year. still have McGregor Park, of course.
Yeah.
But we're trying to go all local and just the headliner being more of a regional.
It's time to get the band back together,
So,
Casey.
yeah.
All
Oh,
three
no.
of you? All three of you got
Yeah.
a thing that
Now, this is going to be what, the 35th year?
35th.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Lee Erwin had a rap single back in the 80s.
What?
So we maybe get that out again.
Somewhere there is a rap song. They made me do a rap song
Somewhere.
back when WABD was an urban station. So I had to do a rap song.
Stop everything. I need
No,
this.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
let's hear
Listen.
No.
Maggie's not ready to announce that the headliner's Lee Erwin. So
There it
it's
is.
not.
We want people to come to Riverfest, enjoy it.
People would come to see that.
No. But
I'll make
that
sure
was-
there's a 30-minute
that was
slot
a-
for you on
that
Sunday.
was almost before all of you were born. So, never mind.
Yeah, Lee Erwin and the Funky Beats Orchestra will be
Love it.
playing the headliner at Riverfest this year.
Oh, no.
Love it.
No.
Dope rhymes and good times with Lee Erwin.
Yes. But lots of great events. The regatta, of course. And stop me if I'm wrong, Maggie, on some of what are we doing the gaming tournament again? The CD CD Light Band?
F2Con. Yeah, so they're
F2Con.
rehosting that inside the Wilma Rudolph Event Center that same weekend.
That's been really good since that started. I really enjoy, and I know esports is well, no, I think I was about to say it's a smaller thing. I don't think it is anymore.
Not anymore.
I think
no.
esports is just a big deal at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we
And-
also have a big gaming community that
Mhm.
I know CD Light Band has found, and that's a really good thing that we were able to do.
We
that.
have some like cyber cafes in town nowadays too, and the prize structure is very good. I'm not a competitor in those types of things, but I do watch them and follow them. Our prize structure is a bit above the norm, I believe. So I think we had a fair number of like professionals come from out of town to compete last
You
year.
win a couple grand.
Yeah, and I know what games there was a Call of Duty. They did Halo Infinite last year. Some Street Fighter and like Mortal Kombat. Rocket League, I think, was one of the major events, and Fortnite was one of the major events, if I remember correctly.
If you can get Pong on there, Lee Erwin used to play
Oh,
that
yeah,
in
I can do
arcade
that.
back in the day.
I can do that.
I was
Super
hoping-
Smash Brothers and Mario
Pac-Man.
Kart.
Pac-Man, yes.
Oh,
There you
yes.
go.
Now, I like Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers for stuff like that, but I can't do the like hyper competitive. I don't have the time to invest to get good enough.
Right.
Some of these folks are just like lightning in these games, and I doesn't even I don't understand how your brain can tell your hands what to do that fast.
Exactly.
But it's incredible. So I'm glad to hear F2Con will be back. Any other major events to mention?
Boat Regatta, of course,
Boat
is
Regatta.
coming back.
What about dragon boats? I know that was a thing that was sort of semi-attempted last year.
Yeah, we tried that last year, but it really doesn't fit the scope of
Yeah.
our Riverfest. I know it's a big thing in Nashville, so we wanted to try that out. But
We want
wasn't
boats
in
to
a-
sink.
yes,
Listen, with the dragon boats, there is no chance that those things are going to sink. Too safe. We want boats that are made out of cardboard and duct tape that are going to be at the bottom of the Cumberland before the day is over.
in
You
a
know?
beautiful Cumberland River.
Exactly.
I was just thinking about how dark the Titanic Award is in its name when you really think about
We're
it.
far enough away. I mean,
Yeah.
we're past 100.
It's not too soon.
Right, exactly.
We made a movie about it. It's
But,
fine.
right, when James
Yes.
Cameron makes a movie about it, you can make awards about
I
it.
mean, we're trying to think of ways to involve Cumberland River more this year at Riverfest because, like you said, it's a treasure in Clarksville.
Yeah.
So even paddle boating, canoeing, we're trying to bring some kind of those elements into it. Bringing back, I can't remember what the ship is called, but I think it's the American Cruise or
Ooh.
that traditional, what's it
Yeah.
called?
The paddle boat.
Yeah.
The old paddle steamer.
It's
No,
named the River City Queen, right?
I believe something. It's where people got to go in and tour the boat, and
Oh, yeah.
we're
Okay.
trying to do like a VIP experience with that.
Very cool.
That'd be cool.
Just be warned, it's easier to paddle downstream, but you got to come back
The
up.
other way, that's
You're like, man, this is easy. Just know that when you turn around, it's not going to be.
Awesome. Which kind of going in, one of the bigger announcements for this podcast, I think, for this episode, is that this will quite possibly be the final Riverfest as Riverfest. Is that correct, Maggie?
yes, that is correct.
Can you
It
talk a little
is-
bit about that?
Yeah, it's the grand finale, we're calling it. Kind of more of a reunion, a start of something new. So we're sad to see it go, but right now it's basically, we simply cannot achieve a quality large-scale event along Cumberland River. The city is continuously growing, and we really need Clarksville to help us on figuring out what to do next. Obviously, building a stronger community is what our main goal is. So figuring out, maybe it's not a particular event that replaces Riverfest, but multiple events that can help us fit our goals of really serving our public and what it's missing.
I think that's a good way to think about it, with the kind of theme being Riverfest throughout the years and celebrating how Clarksville's grown. If we look at Clarksville, I think the period of growth between the 90s and now has been just so absurdly explosive for Clarksville.
Oh, yes.
I've been around for a decent chunk of it that I can remember. I was born here in 92, so I can remember actually like 1998 to now. And it's a different community.
Well, it's 100,000 people bigger.
Mm-hmm.
When in the 1990s, the population of Clarksville was 70,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Last census, 170,000 plus.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
100,000, more than doubled the population in that time.
I've noticed too, it's a younger generation too.
Yeah.
So,
and being able to kind of take a year to celebrate, that's an achievement. We've gone to be one of the I think higher quality cities in the U.S.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not the biggest, of course.
Right.
We're not like New York or Nashville in size or anything or scope or anything like that. But it's generally a great place to live, and we've been recognized nationally for that on a couple occasions.
And we're proud to be where we're at with Riverfest. Like you said, it's an accomplishment, and events that come and go. So it's been history written, and what's next?
It's something sort of to be celebrated that we are at a point that we need to think about how to do the event better by needing changes, and that's kind of, I think, what this is: taking a step back to reevaluate how to make this the best thing it can be.
Right.
Whether that means maybe a series, and this is speculation. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but maybe like that, a series of events, maybe increasing the size and scope of other existing events. Maybe 4th of July becomes a bigger thing.
That's one thing I really want to highlight. I think that is a huge event that I think we can bring it to even more top notch.
Great.
So a lot of possibility in the future for festival-like entertainment in Clarksville and large community events. We don't quite know what it will look like, but that's sort of the beautiful thing about it. We want the community's input on this. And do we have a vehicle for that yet, Maggie? Do we know how people can sort of weigh in?
We are figuring that out on seeing, obviously surveys we're going to be doing, but some kind of an on-site activity that we're going to be planning at Riverfest, so we can really get those people who are there, their input. One of the biggest things too is, when you think of different cities, you think of that one item or that food item or so forth. So when you think of Clarksville, we're trying to think of what is that one thing
Bread's
that we
Bakery.
think about that we can spin a festival off of, or something like a strawberry fest, something like that. What is Clarksville known for? And that's something that we're really having a hard time right now trying to figure that out.
Well, I would definitely, folks, if you can submit ideas, the more people that can submit, bring back Winger and Lee Erwin.
There you go.
I think that.
Lee Erwin Festival.
Okay.
Yes.
2024.
And Winger will headline every year. And they'll just go, remember that time we threw a fit about the Riverview Inn? We're back to relive those glory days. And I know it's not completed yet. We can even have them stay in one of those.
Follow that up. Sam's got an intro Trapped.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
For those unfamiliar,
Yes.
one of the radio hosts over at 5 Stars had quite the experience with Trapped, if I remember.
There's a lot of stories about those guys.
They fell in a sinkhole here one time.
They fell in a sinkhole here?
Yeah, they were playing at the warehouse, and their bus fell in a sinkhole on the way into town.
Wow.
What does that? That didn't happen to Winger.
No.
On stage. What does that tell you?
I tell you what, Casey, I do want to throw a plug in here for Clarksville Parks and Rec, because I have had the honor of working with them for 40 years, probably 40 plus years. And they always do a great job. We have so much going on, and not just Riverfest, but other events year round, and Clarksville Parks and Recreation does a super job. And I've heard nothing but good things about them from people moving in,
For
new people in
sure.
town.
When
So,
talking, when talking about local entertainment, local events like this, there's so many people. Parks and Rec, I think, at the top of the list that we have to thank for being able to do these things. Whether it's a straw jamming in the alley, one of my favorites, or 4th of July, or Women's of Clarksville Expo, or all these wonderful events. There's Parks and Rec. There's our police officers who even just last year made all the difference in the world with Riverfest. Won't get into all of that here and now because that's a whole other thing to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's the work of a lot of people that care a lot about making Clarksville a fun place to live. And it's sad to see Riverfest go, but I cannot wait to see what comes next. And I think maybe we can finish off with that. Does anyone have their own? What will you be submitting, everyone, to the
other than the
box?
Erwin Winger Fest?
Yes. What is your future event hot take? Again?
we did have a Lee Erwin parade one time, but that was a long time.
Let's
ago.
bring that back.
That was on April Fool's
You
Day.
were,
But anyway,
You were ahead of the Christmas parade 2 years ago.
yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was proud of that. Very proud of that.
As you should have been.
And
We're proud to
it
have
should be
you.
Of course,
every year,
of course,
too.
that was the second time they had picked me for that.
Well,
So
this means
you
you're
know,
old. That's it. You know,
that's
you
it.
come around
yeah.
the next time.
But I cannot think of anything off the top of my head. But I just think I kind of I enjoy seeing. I've enjoyed Riverfest for so many years. But it is time. Eventually, you've got to move on, do some new things. Keep some of the old stuff, but also lots of new things for all the new people moving here.
All right, here we go. Maggie, take notes.
Let's hear it.
When I think of Clarksville, I think of a lot of things. What I think would make a great festival is, I would call it the brews, barbecue, and bands festival. We have a lot of great local breweries in town. I mean, King's Bluff, one of the. I could speak about all of them.
Dustin's stuff is
Oh my God.
fantastic.
Every time I go there, I say, "You just pick. I don't need. You just tell me what you just pour whatever. It's all gonna be
Are
good."
you a Mud Club member?
I'm not. I may pay the full price member. But no, I think because when you think of it, you think of the great brewery scene that we have. I mean, Black Horse. You think of
Strawberry
Tennessee
Alley,
Valley,
yeah.
Strawberry.
Tennessee Valley's here.
Moving right to
Just
yeah,
got
moving
launched
downtown.
Their soft opening.
Right. I mean, and how great is that? But there's Gladiator. There's a whole bunch of them. There's even ones that are kind of outside of the area. And then I think about the great barbecue that we have here. I mean, Clarksville now just reported about Witt's Smokehouse burning down, but that's going to come back.
right?
XL, sorry, XL's Smokehouse. But I think you think of that. You think of a festival where you can celebrate the great brewery scene that we have here in Clarksville, celebrate the great barbecue scene that we have here in Clarksville, and have a great band. That just seems that's what I'll be submitting after I submit Lee Erwin and Winger.
I really like that idea.
So,
and to go in with that, bands and such, I like some of my favorite events are things like the Jerk Festival. I like food-based events and things that get a lot of the local food trucks and food vendors together. I think Downtown at Sundown is one of the better local events too. I know that one's a county one, but I think that concert
Still, they do a great job.
They do a fantastic job, and that's such a beautiful place for it. And with the arena here now, I think incorporating that into more events is necessary, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I think the big key word is collaboration, and we work so well with county, and we're just starting our new beginnings with F&M Arena. So I think if everyone collaborates together for this big thing, whatever that is for next year, it's going to be amazing.
The city-county broomball tournament is going to be awesome in an actual ice rink.
Yes.
Are we doing that? Is that still
I
happening?
hope so.
That's the first time I've heard
The city
it.
versus Fort Campbell.
When did we talk?
Well, we used to do.
I just remember that's an event that's happened in the past. I don't know.
Oh,
if
We
it's
used to bring the ice rink down to the downtown commons. People could skate at the downtown commons. And so when we did that, we would have a team. It would be the county mayor versus Fort Campbell. So it was Montgomery County versus Fort Campbell. And so the CG of Post would come down with a bunch of soldiers, and they would take on Mayor Durrett and a bunch of county employees.
Or like fire or a county fire versus city fire or CPD versus sheriff's office and so on.
They do a lot of different games. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Should bring that back.
Yeah.
There was someone when I played who was doing exceptionally well. Turned out they're wearing ice spikes. But hey, whatever you got to do to get that broom ball down there.
No, that was I'll have to show. I think I have some photos from that event from a couple of years that I took photos of that one. But it was a really good time, especially because most of the people don't know how. It's sort of the same thing as why the cardboard boat regatta is so fun.
Failure.
Watching a bunch of people skate for the first time in a broom ball tournament is.
And the fun part is watching them fall down.
Yes.
Especially when it's a public official.
Exactly.
That's always great. And usually I can get a picture of that.
Lee's got
for
good
Clarksville
pictures.
now.
Yeah, he has.
And of course, you'll be able to hear a lot of this on Clarksville Now and on the radio stations. So we look forward to working with you guys to get the word out about Riverfest and get the word out on what will come next, whatever that happens.
We'll be there.
Also, the big challenge is the name.
Yeah.
New name.
Oh, is it going to? Will Clarksville be involved?
Yes, there we go.
Well, Finny G needs to.
Finny G.
Are we gonna kill Finny G when we're done Riverfest? You've got to see if you can find that.
Ritually, it'll be like Wickerman.
We're gonna put everything away. And
if we can we throw Finny G into the Cumberland River and never be seen again?
You make that as an activity. Riverfest.
Burned in effigy with winger
Clark S. Gill. It should have been Clark S. Gill.
And with that, I think that's a great closer.
Well, Casey, thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. It was great to just catch up with you guys. I do miss you guys.
We miss you as well.
I love being with the city, but
that was
I'm sure I will be there soon. I've been meaning to come out and bring the baby to see.
Oh,
everybody.
yes.
Katie's been on me about it too, so I need to come.
Don't you dare show up without that little one.
I won't do it. All right. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank you.